Okay, so I have a bunch of things, and I think they're all kind of random off of each other. Um, anyways, it's gonna be a whole bunch of things. I think that let's just look at my tooth first thing because I don't want to forget. Is it totally looks to me just like the black hole is getting really small, and it's starting to look like that orange, and it's tender like a new tissue growing. So I'm still totally babying it. Like I'm not chewing over here, like a little bit of chewing, but like I'm not just like chewing over here. And and it is tender and stuff. So like sensitive. But you can totally see like how it's just growing back. It's just healing. Just totally reminds me of a skin knee. So, okay, that's one thing. My stomach got better yesterday. I don't know what the hell. Uh, I don't know what I did. I put more bentonite clay. I drank more of that. And so if that is it, then maybe we'll see. Because the other time when I did that, then it like worked for a day, but then it just came right back. So I don't know. I'll have to see. That yesterday though, we went. I went and took for a walk to the. We went to the park. Well, we went down to the lake place. That has the camping. It has a whole bunch of places you can walk around. And we didn't go down by the water because Stella always wants to get in the water, and they got those signs up that's poisoned, and which I think all the water. Trying to get her to stop drinking it is an ordeal, and so I don't know this chemical smell that is coming out of her. And I'm adding in a couple of more things. I'm gonna really start be going on the black seed oil because her slobber is so mucusy, and so I was like, man, that and the bugs and stuff need the mucus. So if I can get rid of the mucus, maybe I can get rid of whatever this resistant bugs. I can't understand how she could be on the horse paste for this long, and there could still be this battle. Other than the fact that it's we're taking in this stuff nonstop. So it's just like this battle that just continues, which it is really hard too. It's emotionally draining to have someone you love so much be sick all the time. It's like so draining. The uh but anyway, so we went out there and oh my gosh, she's just running around like crazy. They've already eaten. I was up at 1, 2, 3, 4, and well, that's when I went in to start making tea, and I looked at the thing. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, but we'd already been up a little, and then uh, but yesterday when we went to the place to go do a walk out there, it's just a swamp. It was so swampy everywhere, so swampy, and it keeps changing the landscape when we go to places. Like when we went to the river we went to the river earlier this week, or what is this day? Earlier this week, it's Tuesday. Oh, I'm gonna go to the food bank this morning. Um, so a couple days ago, and we went to the river and did that one, and she gets in there and drinks that water. At least that water is moving, um, and it's coming down off of the mountains and stuff. So hopefully I don't know. They're just poisoning every fucking thing. But while we were there, she was like running around, like her with her little friends here, so their little pack, and it's funny because it's got like its own little personality, and in a kind of like I don't know, like it seems like if Stella gets mad at Archie, like um Max will just step in between. But Stella's not aggressive, and she's bossy. So she's obnoxious. But she isn't aggressive. So Max and her aren't aggressive. Like if she does something, she'll like, Murr! And hit him with her nose or something, or hit him with her chest. And yesterday, she kept trying to play with Archie, and Archie is just scared the shitless of her. And he got mad at her. It's like she's just trying to play. She's getting so playful hanging out with them. But those two are like brothers. And I know Archie was with his brother at that house and she surrendered him. And the two brothers got separated because they didn't get along. They fought all the time. And so Archie is super aggressive. Like I said, he goes gremlin. He goes crazy. And, and his whole face changes. It's so funny. But, well, it's not really funny. Like, you're constantly having an Archie. But, but anyways, they are so close. They are such little companions. And I kind of felt like, oh, poor Stella. She's always getting left out by them. And they're always going off. But yesterday when they were out there and they're running, I was seeing how much that gives her spunk being with them. And so how much she enjoys it. And even like I thought she was getting tired because we had done a couple spins around. And then I thought, oh, she's got to be getting tired. We'll go head back towards the car. And we got up there. I got them in the car. And she got up there and she's like, hell no, we're going again. And so I had to get them back out. And then we went again. Then when we went again, then she was really... And but last night she slept pretty good because I thought, oh, God, this is going to be fucked. But she is definitely stiff. But when she gets up, that smell, that chemical smell. And I had my... apple cider vinegar I made, which you make that with just putting apples and water and then leave them sit to ferment for a long, long time. And it becomes apple cider vinegar, which makes sense. All the stuff that you ferment is just fermentation, spices. There's certain things that are really kind of integral to our health or something that they don't show the importance of. But anyways, fermenting stuff is like, I don't know, it's smart to just ferment your own shit. And there's different kinds too, because you can mix it with alcohol, drinking alcohol, not rubbing alcohol. People go like, I don't know, the strongest you can get. Like, I don't know if it's, what is that called? I could be on Mad Dog 50/50 or something, but no, it's that Everclear. Some people get like Everclear, I think. And then you mix that with whatever, your herb or plant or something. And then you just do the same thing. You just let it sit for a long time and it becomes a tincture. So you don't drink it. You just take, it's like a couple drops. And then the oil one. So, and I have a few of those going. You infuse the herb with the oil. Oregano is a really good one because oregano oil is really good for infections and stuff like that. So you infuse oregano. If you got like our whole situation with all the oils now, so you got to figure out. But it's supposed to be like you put it with really good olive oil, and then the other is water that you can do. But for fermenting, it needs sugar. It needs something to grow, and so the ginger and the honey. That one, if you just cut up all the ginger and you put it inside the honey and then you just let it ferment, that becomes like a really powerful cough. It's because it's not just a cough syrup, because it also has all this stuff like it's healing the problem. So, oh, which by the way, this is the craziest thing, but I know I was there, so I'm not judgmental or anything, but it's so crazy when you get to the other side. But so my brother with the brain cancer, that last year he got the brain tumor removed and stuff, went through the treatments. He wouldn't do anything natural. It would piss him off when I would even say. And so he wants nothing to do with natural stuff. And he only trusts surgeons and doctors and what they say. So he got cleared last year. You know, his cancer was all gone. And so then yesterday, my other brother messages me, the one that we've been talking about the copper and stuff. So he's all open to natural stuff. Like he ordered magnesium and stuff like that. And so he's open to that. But I don't know if it has anything to do with it. But he's also in California, where there's a lot more of that kind of natural stuff, I would guess, than being in Texas. And he, so I'm sure he hears people talk about it a lot. And hears people, you know, in conversations. And plus he works at, he's a fireman, so he's around tons and tons of guys who, you know, talk about stuff and their health, and they've all, um, firemen and stuff get affected by the smoke. They've all got health issues. And so so he messages me and he says that the other brother is having issues, and he has so the brother with the brain cancer, he is having like weakness on one side or something. Can't remember all the symptoms, but it was a weakness on one side. So then my brother, who's the fireman, was like, "Do you think it could be like Myasthenias gravis, the Bell's palsy, or do you think it could be another thing?" And I was like, "Man, it's so hard to say. Fuck." But he's gone in and he's got MRIs and he's gone in the ER and stuff, and they can't find anything. And so I said, "Well, he needs to." I said, "Oh, I can't remember what it was." I said he needs to take some cayenne pepper and honey, and because that it show like it would clear his blood, and then so if it's anything like any kind of those things, and that is what gives strokes and stuff. But because he seemed like, you know, it would be like a stroke, but they can't find anything like that, and then he's not having these other problems, so it's like these weird things. So he said that he said, "Oh, he won't do that." I was like, "Oh my God, he won't even do this anything." And he goes, "No, nothing natural." And I was just like, "What in the hell?" And I was like, and my mom was like getting so upset because she knows other people like that, and she's all crossed into natural, and so she was all upset. But I was like, I remember being like that. I remember like to my doctor, he was telling me to take magnesium. I was like, "What the fucking hell are you trying to pull on me? Give me the real stuff." And so it's just this mindset. It's like this mind trap. Everything is these mind traps and these programs. But you got to remember also that whatever your mind's trapped on is part of your lessons, because you learn from this shit. And your lessons can your lesson part, the part where you're aware of the lesson, can come at different times. So it can come at your life review. And that's where you see it in a whole different perspective than what you were seeing when you were in the game. So that is, you know, that's one thing always. And so it's not like, "Well, you know, I've got to get them to understand. I've got to get them to understand." You got to sit back and let the universe, let their game, let their ride play out. Let them figure it out. And it's hard. It's definitely hard. I keep pulling like on my blanket. The dogs get on this and they get their little sticks. It's like, where are these little sticks coming from? Like, it's not like I see little sticks on. Oh, get stuck in their paws, and then they lay down and then they spread their paws. Because I'm always like, what in the hell with these little sticks? So, anyways, so he has an appointment with his surgeon in 2 weeks, and this brother, the sick brother, told the other brother that he's fearing that it's the beginning of the end and his tumor's back. And but he won't, like, you could be doing natural stuff until you got to the thing. You could be trying all these things there, but they're so resistant, but it's part of their, you know, and I don't know. It's so impossible to try and figure out. You can't outsmart the universe. You can't figure it out and then be like, "Oh, okay, I get it. I'll just tell him I got this." And it doesn't work that way. So, and our part, you know, is to learn to rein ourselves in, not be like putting our fears and our worry and stuff onto other people. So, but you know, it bothers me too, is because I know once you surrender, you're out. You have to stay with the fight to stay in. And, but everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen. Like, but it's just weird because we're in this shift. Like this little incident that I just had in the bathroom with Stella. Because in the nighttime, or sometime in the last few hours, I was thinking about Gertie, my pig, and I was thinking about Stella and some of the faces that she was making to me. I was like, God, that reminds me of Gertie. And then I was like, wonder if she could have been Gertie when she was here before. Maybe she's been coming in and out of my life since I was a kid, coming in as different pets and stuff. And because she is like a guardian to me in this life. And and that is, I don't know if it's a part of the full circle or whatever for a predator, that everything that they kill, they have to come back. I don't know. Like, I don't know all these different patterns. I think there's so many different patterns that play out. It's just so vast. But I know in this life that she came to be my guardian, and I know in the other life that was haunting me as a child that she ate me, or killed me. I didn't watch the whole thing to see if I got all completely devoured. I'm just assuming that's why she was coming to kill me. She was hungry. And so, but when I was seeing that about Gertie, then I was like, oh my gosh. But my little interaction with Stella was that all of a sudden this awareness of realizing. So it's like this other, it's like this going, I felt like I went up this other level of understanding. It's like a recognition. It's like once I've recognized you, like if you were here in these other times and I didn't recognize you, but now I recognize you. And so now it's like this like other level or something, this partnership or something. I don't know. It was just this trippy kind of thing where I was like, but I was telling her, because I always tell her everything, but she knows anyways, because we have this psychic connection. It's weird. I just never had it before with a dog, which there is more shenanigans with the dog. Like there's actions happening because it's so outrageous. And of course it has to get more outrageous to get more attention. And so they're using prisoners apparently at some of these shelters to do work. And it's caught on video. 3 of them are doing the ditty on the dog and then putting her down. And then there's video footage of them brutalizing to murder instead of, euthanizing them, like all compassionate, like taking away their life, snuffing out their life compassionately. I mean, they're putting down puppies and stuff, which there is a puppy mill that just got busted in, I think it's in Texas, or definitely was down south, but now I can't remember exactly where, but it was 200, what are those things called? Golden doodles. 200 there's one place, and you know how, if you know any, like there's one in our family, and they get so mad at, when my daughter got her, she was all like, oh, it's hyperallergenic and all this stuff, and it's like so different, and they've got such a huge upkeep on their hair. And the Stella, or Winston, because he was a golden retriever, and that's what they mixed, because they got the labradoodles, or are poodles and labradors mixed, and then they got the golden doodles, which are golden retrievers and poodles mixed. And golden retrievers can be hyper as fuck. And Winston was just like, oh, he was his own fella. He was a sweet guy though, but he wasn't, super sharp or anything. Some are really, really smart. And, but, I don't know if it's anxiety or whatever, but anyways, some of the things, but don't mix perfect with some of these dogs. You make something too intense. Goldendoodles are so anxious, and but the fur thing, because golden retrievers have this undercoat like a husky, and so all that fur, and so then you mix it with the poodle, and so they have this like undercoat and this curly hair, and if you don't upkeep it, it turns into major uh whatever those tangles are that they get, the whatever they call them, they're a big pain in the ass, and the groomers can't stand it, and it's really bad for them. Like, they can get sores and stuff under, if you don't care for these dogs. Like, I've seen so many videos of these rescues of curly haired dogs that are just so matted and just full of all those tangles and stuff. And so all those dogs, 200 there, they weren't being kept nice. Look so bad. Oh my God. And their eyes are all, oh my God. It looks so bad. The mistreat, like the humans, how they are mistreating animals right now is just, oh, it is obviously has always gone on, but it is like how it's at the surface of seeing it with our own eyes. It's just like, oh my God, this is so disgusting. I just can't believe how much humanity is missing in so many humans. It's like, what in the hell? What are you connected to? They're just feeding off the dark or something. It's just like, you got to have caring and compassion. You got to have empathy. And, I mean, what is a world without empathy? What is a world without caring and having compassion for someone else's pain? Like, fuck, man. So, anyways, let me see. Let me see if I can wrap this part up. Okay, so the water, like, there's something weird because the river and at this place, look, this place, the lake over here, the camp place was like a fucking swamp, but there's like a zillions of rocks. So it's like all this is washed in. Well, the other day at the river, a couple weeks ago, it was like all these rocks were washed in, and now it's like they all washed back out. So it keeps having these major floods and keeps changing the ground and stuff. It's weird. Like, it keeps being, I don't know, things are just shifting. Things just keep changing and changing and changing. And I swear to God, it is like, yeah, it's like walking across hot coals. You just gotta stay like tiptoeing, or like not tiptoeing, but stay not planted. Stay like, kind of like when your head's on a swivel or whatever, what they say, like, keep your feet like moving, like, be ready for anything. And anything can happen, because now they're saying there's supposed to be some giant windstorm that's gonna hit California. We did not get any, like, whatever our weather was that little tiny bit of snow that happened that one morning and didn't do anything. And then it really has gone to like 40s, and I don't know if it's in the 50s. Maybe if you were right out in the direct sun. We did go out. I mean, it was where there was more sun, but when we left, I did see it, because I was telling them we'll go when the sun comes out and the fog is cleared, because it's so motherfucking foggy. And so then, and I just know that the fog is a problem. And so it seemed like it was clear, and I was getting ready. Then it came back in again. I was like, what in the holy hell? And so I was trying to look, and I was seeing like there was blue. Oh, and then I was like, well, I bet you once I get out of this little pocket, I'll see more blue. Like, maybe I just got to get out of here and drive to more clear. And so went out and got out there and went and took them. But that is how I saw. So when I'm driving towards to go to town, to this little town, to go get water and stuff, is I'm going towards Mount Baker. So Mount Baker is right in front of me, and it was fog. So where I was saying yesterday, like, I don't know if the fog is getting up there because all these people are going skiing and stuff. And you would think like they would be getting blasted. But I don't know if it is because they're outside breathing all that in. Maybe some of them are getting really sick. There's supposedly all these people who are getting really sick. And I just saw this lady doing this video, and she had been traveling. Because traveling right now, I'm telling you, just to be all willy-nilly, like, oh, I'm just going to go have a little vacation and, you know, just, I don't know. It's kind of like being self-indulgent in the world on fire and being oblivious. Like, what matters most is that you're fun or something. That's how it comes across to me. And so they were in, what is that called? Punta? Cunha Punta or something. And everybody was getting sick, really, really sick, and puking and stuff. And she said the worst was because it would come in waves, you know, like you would be doing okay and then it would come back. And she said that then she was sick on the travel day. She said that was the worst, and she's puking and major diarrhea and stuff. And they're telling him that it's the rotavirus or whatever. Now everybody's got this rotavirus bullshit. Everybody's got fucking side effects to goddamn poison, man. It's fucking bullshit. And so and she was saying something about like the sickness, and there's sickness everywhere, so you got to just really be aware. But there's also things with the food. And she said, because all the people that they were traveling with and stuff, there was like 12 people or something. Everybody, well, I think there was more. She said 12 people got sick. And everybody was eating at different places. So it wasn't like, oh, well, don't go to that place. It was all over the place. And, but see, I don't know. I mean, it's global. Like, they're globally, it's why these places that you think of being poor countries, they've been done that way. They did that on purpose, and then they came over here to try and conquer this bigger place, and they had to go after all these different tribes, and then and create their weird little lab world where we're all being poisoned all the time for their amusement. And but they make money off of it, which Mel Gibson just put out a list. Apparently it is quite a list too. And so he said that there's a lot of information coming out on these people now. And so there was big names, lots of big names, but I didn't really think that there was really any surprises. Like, I thought, I mean, who was one? There was one person that I was like, I wasn't surprised to see it, but it was on my mind for the past couple days because her husband had just and he did it to himself. And he's real handsome, I don't know, producer, director or something. And she's got so many parts lately, like she's all over the place. And so everybody's like, you know, you have this beautiful famous wife, and you got all the money that you need, you got a good career, you got friends, you got the life, and then here you are, whatever his age was, 37, I think. And now he's done himself in. And I was thinking, man, 'cause she's been like so everywhere. I was like, I wonder, you know, what side she is playing on. I wonder what the deal is like with this guy. Because I don't know. There's so much weird shit. But she was on the guest list or whatever. She's on whatever this list thing that they are looking into all the, or disclosing all stuff on all these people or something. Or he said looking into all these people. So, Audrey Palace or something, I think her name is. But I don't know. It's like, God. Yeah, man. I don't, who knows? I mean, there's so many people who are suicidal, you know. They make like that, man, I don't know. So there's just so many things you just got to watch how they play out. which I saw this girl freaking out yesterday. So this, like you can't even tell on some of the things, you know, when there's certain things that people talk about. It's like, I can't tell if it's a red or a blue. I have no idea. And so, and that to me is why there is like these crossover things in people. And, you know, they seem like they were liberal, then they all of a sudden they were over here on conservative, and you know, like there's just all this like back and forth that's trying to draw us in, because they're pulling in these people, and then it's kind of like, you know, get the ball going back and forth until they figure it out, until they see like, oh, we're playing the same game. So they have so Elon, so this girl, she was freaking out, and I would assume by her emotions that she probably has a sibling or a friend or somebody who has dealt with child CA. And so she was very upset about this. And Elon now has said that he wants to stop all of the funding towards children's CA research. And this girl was so motherfucking pissed off, like, how fucking bullshit. I don't even know, like, she was fucking pissed. And I was like, man, see, like, they don't have the whole story. It's like they don't see. And so I don't know, it was just kind of like baking away in my head, and then all of a sudden it just came to me. And so I went and did a video, and I said that there is, so I wouldn't be able to say it word for word, but it was basically, you know, if the guy who's making the med beds is saying that we don't need money to go towards this, I would assume it's because he knows that we don't need the money to go towards this, that that's no longer going to be an issue. And I would think probably on even another level is that he is aware of the laundry system that goes on with that, you know, the donation, that the research bullshit, fucking laundry system that they got going, and us, oh God, we feel so, give them more. And they just fucking feed off of us, man. It's such bullshit. Like, you want to get yourself pissed off, go look into the foundations and all this fucking bullshit, man. And so in getting people to donate, and the money, it doesn't go to what you think it goes to. And so I said that he probably is even aware of that, but I would assume that the person who is making the med beds would know more about this than just the regular people. So there's something you don't know yet. And I don't know. At first, TikTok was holding it back and holding it back and holding it back. Now it's kind of going, but I think it would go faster if they weren't constantly. Because even Crystal, like, since you had noticed the number thing the other day on the following, you keep watching it. Since you were watching it the other day, watch how it'll go up and then it goes back, goes up, then it goes back. The furthest it's gotten is to 1970, I think, but it'll keep flipping back. It'll go to 1967, 1961, 1960, and then it'll start going back up, and then it'll flip back. So whatever, like, they get to certain things where they don't let me go past it, and I don't know, you know, what their deal is. They're just censorship. And what is also crazy is that so many times on TikTok, it's like videos where you try and get people to think for themselves. They'll hold them back. It's like, that is so weird. I'm not even saying anything other than think for yourself and think about this or whatever. And they're like, hell no, we don't want them thinking. It's like, they want everybody to stay on autopilot. They just want you to stay easily controlled. And they don't want you to think things through, think about things, which Also, I saw a video of Demi Moore accepting, she got a Golden Globe. Apparently, this is her first award she's ever gotten. So she has this huge emotional speech that she's doing. I didn't watch the whole thing, but while I was watching it, I was like, her voice has changed. Like, that is definitely not the same voice. And I was like, I would think if your voice is crackly, it would be not get better as you got older. Like, that doesn't make much sense to me. And so I was like, how did her voice be that way when she's younger, and now all of a sudden her voice is all clear? Like, she's gonna be this old lady with this young voice or something. Like, that's strange. And so I was like, that I don't know. And the thing too is that about this clone situation is that they will have things like that, like the voice would be improved or something. But I don't know. It just, I don't know. I swear to God, there's some of these people who willingly go into these things. Like, they want their consciousness to go into a better version of themselves or something. But some of these ones are just like, I don't know. I think that they start to decay or something. They short out. I don't know. They're not naturally made. They are created in a toxic environment through toxic intentions and stuff. Even when they try and tell us like they're doing this for mankind, their intention is not for us. They're not trying to really make life better for mankind. So it's just like a lie. It's just misrepresentation. And you know, that's what we live in, a world that's full of misrepresentation. Because but that is also where you can learn discernment and learn how to read between the lines, read somebody's energy, and then learn to trust yourself. My problem is, to me, is I would always prioritize their feelings over my feelings. I would always feel so bad. Like, I would think, well, I can handle it. I feel bad for them. They've had a rough life and stuff. Like, that's where you get yourself into these, that dating toxic pool where everybody's just this toxic, looking for love, trying to find somebody to make me feel better in life. And it's just like, it's such a better thing, I think, to just heal yourself and then to focus more on you, and then let nature take its course. Like, you don't have to force things. There's just so much of trying to force things in this world. I think that is so much why the dating pool, the dating thing is all falling apart too. Like, most of our things in our system is all going to be just falling apart, falling apart. And if you don't know about the med beds and stuff like that too, is so in Prometheus they do show that med bed, but in the one that they show too, it does surgery on them. Like, when we go into these ones, I don't think, because you're not supposed to have things cutting into you apparently, and so I don't think that there's going to be something like that. It's something else with vibration. So it's just like, at this vibration, this can't exist. And so, and see, we're going through that. And that is what this whole expansion is. That's what I was even saying, is like this recognition of like Stella being like this soul friend of mine, that we go through different lives, different learning together and stuff. And it is like, I mean, I even see like as a predator, to go through your ascension or your learning is to feel pain, especially if you did a lot of killing, to that you would feel like you would get not the consequences, to get the other side, you know. But you would, I mean, I'm sure she's gone through some lives too, or she got killed or eaten herself, but to go through and learn the compassion of pain and stuff. And then she could also have lessons having to do with someone caring for her. And then I have lessons of like this caring for somebody, and like there's just lessons in life that you just don't realize. And they're actually things that are helping you, improving you, and making you more aware, and making you more compassionate, making you more empathetic, making you, it's into the finer version of you. It's like this, however, that fermenting into a fine wine, kind of. So it is, that's what kind of what we're doing, because you're kind of exposing, well, your darkness is being exposed to you. It's not like you're exposing it. Most people's darkness is being exposed. They don't want it exposed. They want to stay hidden. They don't want their toxic characteristics or behaviors to be known or noticed by people. They want to tell people like, no, you're sensitive. No, you're this. No, you're that. And just turn the tables instead of seeing it. That's why the universe is like, nah, we're not going to do that anymore. No, everybody's going to get a good hard look at their own selves. And so everybody's going to go through these different things. But when you are seeing yourself, that is when you need to look at yourself and think about. And most of your bad behavior comes from your own pain and suffering. So it's not like, you're evil or mean or a horrible person. You're just somebody who, reacted like most other people, like, but this is your time to like clean it up. It's this gaining awareness, just like how I gained awareness of like, oh wow, Stella could have been Gertie, like if she was coming into my life all throughout my life, like, I don't know, I don't know, it just all of a sudden made me see something different. And, let me think. So I feel like I'm like, I feel like there's something nagging at me. So hold on, because it's like these different things. So I feel like, have I finished saying what I was going to say about this whole thing? But I've got a wheeze now again today. Like, man, when it starts out, because this won't go all day. This will be like, it's like in the morning time, but I don't know, after a little while, it's gone. And I probably after coughing and stuff like that. But that is why I keep saying it's so important, is all of this stuff. If you're not coughing and deep breathing, and if you have a hard time deep breathing, vigorous exercising or something, walking real fast, jogging up a hill real quick or something will get you coughing. But you got to cough out the infiltrates that are lodging and making home inside of us. And obviously they're very resistant, because I can't even believe how much stuff like I have given to Stella, and the battle goes on and on and on. And it's like, fuck, man. And this thing on her chin, I don't know, it just keeps doing weird stuff, but it's not going away. But it seems like it bothers her sometimes, because she'll start itching it. But it seemed like it was kind of drying up. But this is such a moist place on her face, so it's hard to even keep it dry. Then definitely that DSMO stuff changed the texture. But I haven't looked it up about this DSMO and this white oleander connection thing. And so, but that would also show, like, these plants, when they're used right, that they have a benefit for us. But we're just being so misled, like, and it just, man, I just know, like, my brother could be doing all this stuff to lead up to the appointment, but then there's just this surrender. Well, I fear it's the beginning of the end. Well, then that's what it will be. If that's what you focus your energy on. If you focus it on like, man, I gotta kick this fucking shit's ass this time, man. I'm gonna take it all. I'm gonna do everything. Go ask Kelly what all the things that she heard works. Because all of the different things, you just gotta try different things. But a cayenne, is supposed to be like, if you think you're having a heart attack, you're supposed to take cayenne pepper. If you it can clear out your blood, clears out, like, it does a whole bunch of stuff. So I would definitely I mean, that just seemed like such a simple thing to do that, and then see like if that is because also, like, I think they cut a chunk out of his brain. I don't know if they cut just the thing out, or if they had to take some of the other stuff out too. But still, I mean, they're going in and cutting and stuff. It's very aggressive. But you think about that with scar tissue. Like, scar tissue growing back, that would cause clogs or cause pressures and stuff like that. And I don't know, these doctors are so weak ass on the diagnosing. It just, I don't know. I swear to God, once we get into a world where people really care, instead of just thinking about how much money they're making, like, that's such a big part of our society that's blowing up. Like, you have to pay big bucks to be healthy in this fucking weird world. But yeah, but even when you try and get healthy stuff, like, I just can't even get over, like, uh some of our, like, the prices of all these things, to the teas and stuff like that. It's all so expensive. So it really is expensive to be healthy, not just in their fucking rigmarole of getting insurance, going to all these doctors, getting all these tests. They have to have these tests and all that bullshit. So when it's like, basic, easy things. Well, if I've got this going on, I ought to try this. Well, I ought to try that. And it's just like, drink a little dandelion tea. Hey, that's going to work on your heart. Drink the mullein tea. That's going to work on your lungs. The cayenne's going to work on your blood. Like, there's just all these different things. Oh, I'm going to put some cayenne in her stuff too. And see, like, maybe if there's this lingers in the blood or something. I just don't know where they're lingering around. How they just keep... And I don't know where, like, I don't even know. Maybe the smell that is coming out of her, it could be like the fucking medicine because she keeps taking so much. Maybe that is overrunning her system and making her pee stink. I don't, you know? And it's not like we have, it's kind of like just try different things. It's like guessing and trying different things. Or you can pay a huge amount of money to go to doctors, have them run them through a whole bunch of tests, and then try and put pressure on you to put them on prescriptions and stuff. It's like, I'm not doing that anymore. And let me think. It seemed like there was another thing. There's definitely lots of stuff with the dogs thing. It's so weird too, because just right before, I think it was yesterday, I was thinking about all these dogs I see all the time at these rescue places. I'm thinking, man, you don't really see golden doodles, like, hardly ever. Have I seen, I think I've seen like 2 that seem like maybe they're poodles or something. But of all these dogs that are constantly being put down, so many pit mixes too. And they are the sweetest dogs. Like, they are really getting a bad rap. And then you get these psycho people who, like, I don't know what the deal is with this guy whose daughter was mauled to death brutally, and his dogs were kept in cages. So he's trying to say, like, if she wouldn't let him out, like, there's a whole suspicious thing going on around this whole crime. I don't even know how it's going to play out, but people aren't telling the truth, and because the things don't line up. So whatever's going on with that, and there's so many horrible things going on that it is, you don't even know, like, that's just another horrible thing. There's just so many. What I don't get either, like, this is blowing my mind, is that all of these people who are, with the weather going bad, and they just still go out on the roads. It's like, I just don't get it, man. I don't get it, especially, like, if they're saying, like, oh, this is only gonna last a few days. Why wouldn't you just wait the few days? Why would you just go, why, what is the fucking thing? It's like, there's no respect for the weather or something, and it is so fucking obvious that these people are just, don't have any respect for the things they should respect. And there are so many fucking pileups, so many, like, there was 30 miles of 30 miles backed up on one highway. 30 miles, they're just sitting there. They can't go anywhere. There's so many wrecks and stuff. But when you see the videos of how many 18-wheelers that are wrecked and stuff, I was like, this is some more nonsense, because last year there was so many of that, which last year seems like I was a couple weeks ago. And so there was so much of that. And where I said that they are spraying something on the streets. And I know that they do. They spray some slick stuff on the streets to cause this stuff. So but last year there was all these cars that were sliding and all these trucks that were wrecking and wrecking and wrecking. This one seems worse. I was like, okay, so they're fucking taking out these bridges. The train thing has already been exposed, like, is falling apart. Like, they've not put money into our infrastructure. They haven't put money into this stuff. So that is a big problem with how things move around, how we get supplies from here to there. And now with all of these trucks, and it's going to be at the same time with all these, there's no way that all these insurance companies can be paying all this stuff. I'm sure there's so many people in battles with their insurance companies trying to get money and getting nothing but shenanigans. And all of these big trucks. So that is going to interfere with the stuff going around and getting to places and stuff. And I don't know how much of our world has to fall apart about this over here in America. I don't know. Trudeau, though, he has said he's stepping down. Thank God, and get rid of that dick. That hopefully, just there's going to be people, everyone that they're going in. Hopefully, it's going to be like we're going into the next phase, not just more of this nonsense of more bad people. There's more bad people. It's like, Jesus, how many of these motherfuckers are there? So, the snow, the trucks, the wrecks, it would definitely cause a disruption because there's going to be all these trucks that wouldn't be able to be on the road to bring stuff. And I mean, they're obviously so desperate they can't even fucking take a day off. They got to be out there like, I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird. It just seems like people are just so mindless. They don't care. And there's so much footage of people just out driving and they're just all stuck. And it was like, do they, because like in Kansas and stuff, like those people have dealt with bad weather. And is it just, maybe it's just way, way worse than anything that, so they thought, oh, well, I've dealt with this before, no big deal. And then they go out and it's 10 times worse. Yeah, it's like things are getting worse, but all these things are what, gets people to pay attention and wake up, which I saw another person talking, and this is a 1-7 person, and they said that in the drops that there had been a lot about Easter. Easter wraps it up, or Easter is the ending, or something like that, which I don't know, all these different ones. You hear all these different things, but still, I mean, so on this one, that it has to do with the calendar situation. And so if you go on our regular calendar, not the one that they created to interfere, but the 13-month one, which I am pretty sure that in Ethiopia, they've been on the 13-month one all along, and it's only 2012 there. And so but if you go to that one, like if you go look up this calendar thing where it puts it together, apparently that January 20th that is about to occur is actually would be really April 20th of Easter time or something, which, yeah, that's so weird because of the weather. See how they have everything so off? Because you would think if it was really April, we would have really good weather. Man, things have been so off because, it was like over summer. We had like 3 weeks of summer. And then, and I swear to God, it feels like it was just Christmas. It's just like Christmas is getting closer and closer and closer or something. I don't know. There's just weird stuff. But yeah, if this was supposed to really be, if we're really supposed to be in April right now, because the solstice thing is supposed to be the actual new year, or the whatever one of those things are. because there's like the solstice thing, and then there's this, I don't know all the names of all this stuff. Um, but it's like the beginning of the season. It's like the beginning of the season, the opening. And so it's the start of it. And winter is the ending of it. And that's why people kept saying, well, that doesn't make sense for them to start the new year in the middle of winter when we're in the middle of the ending. And it should be, it starts with the new season, the new growing season, and which would be April. But then if this is really April like that, what in the hell with the weather? Like, this everything is so different or off of everything they tell us. Like, because the new season should be, but how, equinox, that's what it's called. How can it be? Because where would be the equinox thing? Like, man, I don't know. I don't know. But I hope to God, like I hope to God that we're in the last days. I hope to God we are in that period of time. It is the last days of the corporation. And we are in the shift of the ending of the corporation. Because that's what's ending. And it's sad to say that the corporation is like, for some people especially, is their whole life. There's people who can't, can't stand to see the changes occurring. And just like on this medbed thing, like that girl, like I know that there's tons of people that don't even realize like what's coming with this med situation, that they don't even know. But you'd think even like when they're talking about Elon, they would know like that's what he's making. Like they've got those are out there. The people have been showing these Tesla warehouses that say medbed Tesla facility, whatever. Like they've been making these things. And there's so much shifting around, about so much shifting, like military wise or whatever. But I don't know if you don't know about them though, but the Prometheus movie shows like, like they got this medbed technology situation. They had it in the movies a long time ago, and you can go in there and get healed. And in this, but where I learned about them was in listening to people like Corey Good. I think Corey Good is the first one that I ever heard talking about it. And that is, but I don't know. I knew, because when I watched Ancient Aliens, then there was some, like, I knew that there was lies. Like, I knew that there was lies. Like, I knew the government knew that there was aliens. I couldn't understand how they could convince all the people that there weren't. I couldn't understand why the people didn't have something inside of them that was making them be like, but the people kept being like, no, you're crazy, that there's nothing else except for us. There's no aliens and stuff. I was like, what in the world? That is so weird. But in Ancient Aliens, though, then that they talked about the moon being fake, that it's really supposed to be like it's a ship or something, and it's moved around, and they were taking the moon and gonna move it or something. And I may be getting that off of another thing too. I can't remember all the different ones, because there's a lot of these kinds of informative shows that people, would laugh at or scoff at or whatever. Just like the Inquirer and Star, I'm sure had a lot of truth in them, but people, oh, get it out of the Inquirer or something. And it's like, I mean, maybe you ought to read the Inquirer. Maybe you ought to trust some of the stuff that they're trying to hide and make you laugh at. That stuff is real. And so I don't know if they do try and get you to kind of look at it as a joke or something, but I knew that they knew. And so I don't know, but I didn't think about, like, Ancient Aliens is definitely where I was like, the moon is fake? What? Like, there's all these, like, things. It's like, what? Like, I swear to God, like, I was shocked when, like, I knew the news was bullshit. Like, I knew that there was, manipulation. I knew that, I didn't know so much of the informative news or whatever, the ones that most people were tuning into. I thought, like, Fox was more propaganda, but then to come out and find out, like, I know it's all of them. And the other Fox was showing more truth than the other ones. And so that was like, epiphany when I was all of a sudden saw that. That was a big awakening to me. That was in 2020. And that was like, but that was good to see, man. That was good to see. And I got to see it with a big group of people. Like, there was a big wave of people. And it was cool because that was back when, YouTube, it was just starting to do the censoring because people weren't talking about all of this stuff. And then all of a sudden it changed and they took down all these people's accounts. That's when all these people went to all this other, like, Disclose, um I don't know, there's all these other accounts, but that Telegram, there was a whole bunch. What is that one? It starts with a R, I think. But all these people, that were on here that were saying stuff, they got their accounts ripped away. And but some of them were already switching over to other platforms because that they could make money, because of the shenanigans on here, which it is shenanigans all the time. That the But it was really cool though in the start because they were all live. So it was right when quarantine started, and I was already in that uh, different phase. I was already in a different phase. I was listening to the conservatives, and it was kind of funny too because I would go on, I would talk, and this one guy would talk to me and stuff, and uh, I think that it was new to them too. It was new to them to start having, like, ex-liberals coming in, because we carry a different perspective. Everybody carries a different perspective. So it was like something that they had to open up to as well. And I've gotten so much different perspective through this. Like, I couldn't believe once I started speaking about certain things, how I was getting attacked all the time. I'll go back to church, go turn on your Fox and stuff like that. I was like, you got the wrong person here, buddy. And then when I started seeing how mean and vicious that they were being to the other people, when I had already heard their side, then I would go in and try and take up for them. And I would be getting attacked all the time. I was like, oh my God, these are supposed to be like my friends and stuff. These are supposed to be my peer group. And they are vicious. They don't give a shit. And they don't give a fuck if you just said, I've been blue my whole life. They don't care. If you think this and it doesn't align with them, then they're out for fucking blood, man. And it's, I couldn't believe it. That was very eye-opening. There was a lot of things I was waking up to at that point of, and I started seeing the division so clear and how they had created it and how the media was playing a role. And that is when I also started listening to Donald. And then I started hearing his messaging. You start hearing it different when he keeps saying this stuff about the media. And it's like, fuck yeah, he's right. Like, this is some bullshit, man. They've got people, I couldn't believe, like, my kids would believe the media. Like, they're convinced, like, oh, I'm in a cult, I'm this, I'm that, and all that. It's like, no, you guys are being misled, which, you're surrendering. So that's a little cultish right there. You're surrendering to the media cult, the government cult and stuff. But that is why it's going to keep blowing up in people's faces, because they don't see the whole story. Just like that girl freaking out about, to me, he's putting out there, like, because it is bullshit. All the money that they have put into the cancer research is such a fucking bullshit. They could have fucking cured this shit a long time ago. All they do is have us chasing our tail and more people getting sick. It's so fucking absurd. It just pisses me the fuck off. And these people are, like, so outraged. We got to keep giving the money to them research. It's like, you guys got to catch on what's going on here. But that's what I'm talking about, is like they're getting this part of the picture. They're not getting this part of the picture. And when all of a sudden this part of the picture opens up, that is going to be like their awakening is going to be like very, whew, it's going to be any of the awakening parts that you've been through, it's just like all of a sudden, it's just like an epiphany. It's like all of a sudden, just an expansion happens in your mind, and all of a sudden, you see something you didn't see before. And it's going to be intense, though, because there's been so much resistance and so much, because this is deep stuff that has to come up, because all your resistance to new information is created by your own biases. And so that is why there's so much of this stuff to bring up, so you can realize your biases. But as long as you want to keep pointing fingers at everybody else, you're not going to realize the things that you need to work on. So you're bypassing yourself in order to make a point of other people. So it's like you're hurting yourself trying to be a dick by trying to not pay attention or not trying to acknowledge your own self. It's always best to acknowledge your own self, to take a good hard look at yourself, to see what it is, these sides of yourself. And like I had said before, you don't need to be hard or judgmental on these sides of yourself. You got to learn to accept them. And it is so closely associated or linked in with, once you can learn how to accept yourself, you can learn how to accept other people. Because once you can see like that you didn't have mean intentions, that you just did that by, you didn't mean to hurt somebody, you didn't mean to be so mean. And once you can start understanding that part, then you can start seeing like, oh, so people aren't intentionally hurting me. They're just all going around in their own pain, reactive in life. And we have these crossovers, where we hurt each other. And it's not like we intended to hurt them. It's just my broken parts and your broken parts are there to bring it to the surface so that we can heal these broken parts. And that is why we have these transits. That's why we have these interactions. And that's what life's all about. So that's why it makes no sense to me when people sit there and say that you can override that. Well, that's what we're doing here, though. We're here to interact. We're here to grow. We're here to evolve and to learn and to change and to expand. And when you're trying to cut everything out that creates that, how does that make sense? To me, it's like learning how to use it to your benefit, to be more present in what is happening here and not so resistant to how the world or the universe works. And I think that is the spiritual side of it, is that trying to understand how the universe works. And like, that's been my journey for my whole life. So it's, that's been my whole life. This isn't like my spiritual awakening. And that's what blows my mind, is all this people who are spiritually awakening, but they go so into their ego and they don't, but that is a part of their journey, a part of what it is they're here to see in themselves. But that is what, it's got to be so close. I hope that it is going to be by this 20th of this month. Like, I hope we're closing in on a week. Like, but I swear to God, I've said this so many times for fucking years now. I hope it's this weekend. I hope it's this weekend, and it just drags, man. Like, they can drag this out past this fucking 20th, man. They can do it. They can do whatever the fuck they want, however they want to play this out. But as it's all playing out, you just got to keep on noticing, though. It's all over this exposing more about the crime, exposing more about the criminals, exposing more about the dirty fucking deeds that they're doing behind closed doors, and getting more people to be paying attention. That's the big thing, because the more you pay attention, the more you awaken, the more you have these like, what? And that is what is really happening, because this is way more of a spiritual place. And there was the people who were trying to close us out from our spiritual side, but the light that's coming in is trying to connect us to our spiritual side. So that is why them dragging it out has a purpose. But there's still a part where it's not going to continue at the same pace. And to me, it feels like the pace is picking up. Like, I feel like our reality is, like, vibrating hard. Like, I feel like everything is, like, vibrating really hard. I feel like everything's super loud. It's super intense. And, so I feels like that there's a lot of things changing. And so on this Schumann thing, it was having all this bright light coming in, which those people who read that say this is the new energy coming into the planet. And then the people, it's like gasping for this light. And then it starts going into this like integrating part where it starts integrating, and it's not like these big bright white lights. And so they started this integrating pattern. So that would be the energy coming in and being overwhelming, and then it start settling in people's lives and start, I don't know, because it can be on all different levels. It can be some people having epiphanies, some people realizing, some people healing, some people in introspection and stuff, because that is where, to me, you find a lot of healing, is going into that time of reflection or meditation and stuff, and not the drive of meditation of escaping, even though, like, I do like the escape of meditation, but um but not is to live like that, because we are also, you have to be connecting to this side of yourself of realizing like why you're here. You're here for the experience. You're here to experience, and you're not here to judge yourself. You're not here to judge others. You're not here to judge yourself. So you're not here to judge all of these different situations and stuff. So it's learning how to be in the flow of living in this reality, in this existence, in this realm, in this time, in this phase, and to get all that you can from it, all that you can from this experience, this phase of life, this little honeycomb bubble, this little like a little stargate, this little snow globe. Like, all of this is because we are in this very, it's like all of this other stuff is out there. There's other beings and stuff like that out there, but it's not, but we are our own, we are in our own reality. And that is this coming out of this, like this awakening to the room's bigger. Oh, the room is in a forest. Oh, the forest is in a land. Oh, the land is on an island. Or it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that you are there, but the thing gets bigger the more that you realize, the more that you notice. And so this is what we're in this kind of phase of awareness, as things just keep expanding and making our minds open more and more and more. But that is why you have to be paying attention, kind of. But all the people who aren't paying attention, just mindlessly trying to get to the next fun function, the universe is going to put a dead stop on it. Just like that lady's trailer just flying off and busting up everything. That's the universe's action when you are going where you're not paying attention and stuff. So there's going to be more dramas. There's going to be more drama with people who aren't paying attention, and more situations. Like, I hope my brother's going to be able to get through this one. I hope he's really not going to surrender in his mental state into like, well, now my time's up, I'm sick again. And I don't know, everybody's just on their own journey, and it has to do with sickness, obviously. It has to do with a lot of science things. It has to do with clones. I'm telling you, like, there's weird stuff with this, with some of these people. And, and maybe that's all cool to them. Like, they think they're super advanced because they just take their consciousness and put it in a younger body. Like, okay. I would rather just stick in my same one. I would just rather have the same, I'll just stick in the same ride the whole way through. Like, I'm not going to be like, no, but I don't like this one anymore. Because I don't know, if you go with the natural flow of things, there's less resistance. When you're fighting against things, like fighting against natural progression, which you used to think was aging, and you're fighting against it by doing all these desperate things, then they're going to backfire. So, if you're desperately trying to stay young by going through clones or something, like, I don't know. I just, it's just like a really, such a vampiric kind of energy here, this, just use it and spit it out, this take. It's so much about this consumption and consumerism and this insatiable more. And it's, but each person, though, each individual has their own set of circumstance or darkness that they need to purge themselves out of. It's like giving yourself an exorcism or something. You got to realize the darkness that you've attached yourself to. And it's not like people want to look at it as the dark is going on them. It's like, no, you're just bringing it in. You're pulling it on, then you're holding on to it with dear life. You got to recognize that part so that you can let go of it. It's not devils and demons that are coming and taking you over. Like when I was a kid, like what they would sit there and tell us. Like if you had a bad thought, well, it's the devil in you. You got to get that devil out of you. You got to tell that devil to go on. And and they weren't talking about the two sides of you. They were talking about that the devil is actually going and interfering in your understanding of the world to create its own little slaves or something, which, look at how that's turning out. But it is, the devil is not, the devil is the darkness is these people who have kept us in the dark and lied to us and used us and stuff. They're, what you want to think of as the devil. They're like vampirish, and they're ancient relics. Like these people are old beings that don't have a feeling and stuff. But the dark energy that attaches to people is an energy, and you have to attach to it as by vibration. It can't come and just get on you and trick you. It's so much more of a, I don't know, I kind of see it as like needy or something. It needs you, and it wants to pet you and love you, but these dark sides of you, and those are the sides that you want to get a handle on. You don't want to just feed your darkness all the time, but the dark energy that you surround yourself with, that is you creating that and pulling more in. So it's not devils are coming and getting on you. You're pulling more dark energy in because of your negativity, your hatefulness, your sadness, your bitterness, your anger, your resentment, your self-loathing. Self-loathing is such a big one, boy. You get on the self-loathing, that dark energy just will keep you stuck there. It'll keep you telling, you're rotten. Every interaction you have, they'll make you feel like you're foolish, you're stupid, look at everybody else is better than you. And you think like that's your own self. But no, that's why you've got to do this purging, this exorcism on yourself. And to me, it's like start noticing the difference in the conversation inside of you. Start noticing the negative messaging. Start having more empathy and compassion to it. But then also, in order to leave it, is like you have to leave that vibration. So the way to get rid of it is to leave its vibration and leave it like stranded. But it will always come to find you. But once you are, but it always needs to find a place to go. Like, oh, yes. Oh, that makes sense. So the people who are of the darkness, oh, okay. So think about this. Okay, so all of us have like our own energy attachments, and as you start to heal, you start pushing off all this dark energy. So it has nowhere to go except for more places where it's dark energy. So there is where we keep thinking like, man, these people are turning into monsters and devils and stuff. They are getting a lot of dark energy on them because other people's dark energy is is looking for a home, and that those people who are still carrying that dark energy, it's gravitating towards them. So they're getting overrun and overbearing amount of dark energy on them. And then, yeah, that's going to feed them into, a lot of dark things. Family annihilation being one, hurting people, running over, like all sorts of stuff. But there's so many more things going on too, because we still have the MK Ultra, we still have all of this stuff. And if you don't know about all the technology and stuff, there's all these different shows. Like Gaia has got a lot of stuff that is a little more progressive. But History Channel is where I saw Ancient Aliens, and it had a lot of stuff on there. Ancient Aliens, I thought, but I saw it a long, long while ago. There could be so much more further information out. David Wilcock, he played a big part. Corey Good, Cosmic Disclosure, all of those things have whistleblowers and stuff that talk about the technology, the hidden space programs, the hidden programs, and that has to do with all of that what is that called, DART or something now that everybody's talking about, that program that they were getting the kids. And now all these people who are now like, they really do feel like, man, I can't remember during that period of time. And my daughter has said that before. My daughter has told me, I can't remember my childhood. It's like, but your childhood wasn't like that bad. Like, you know, I don't know. When you come from one that's a hard one, then it's like, yeah, well, yours isn't that bad. Like, what are you talking about? I think that is something that we all do is bad for them. So I can't say, it's all by perspective. And so we can look at theirs and be like, yours is a fucking sweet ass deal. You don't even know what I went through. But, what they go through is what they go through. So, but she has said that she can't remember her childhood. But there is also another thing where a lot of them are saying that they had to drink a drink too. Like it was like, oh, let's have snacks. So, and I think that they were, like, I know that they use these tests to find certain characteristics, and they want control of these characteristics. And so I don't know. I know that what mine was I think is about telepathy and being able to talk to these other beings and stuff. So I would think that a lot of people, that it was interfering with their telepathy, with their connection and stuff, and that they were more connected than the other kids, and so they had to go in and shut it down. And so that's my guess. Because if I just put it together of what my things are that I was able to do, because I didn't get caught up, didn't get caught by them, and then hearing what Corey Good has said about the stuff, and some of these other guys too, the ground is totally vibrating again. I'm telling you, there's something that is so vibrating. So, anyways, but if you're like, man, that bullshit, this stuff, you start finding out like their technology is so far advanced. And there was this whole trade, I guess it's Eisenhower or something, but I think there was other ones, but I think they also put pressure on some of these people. But some of these presidents have been really, really bad, really, really rotten sons of bitches. And, but there was a trade deal that was made for technology. And they also, in this trade deal is, us as food. So that whole thing too. So there's a lot of stuff about, and they have to tell us the truth, so they put it in the movies and they put it in shows. So that is why you got to be, when you're watching a movie or a show or something, you got to be watching it with more discernment. It's not just for your entertainment. They slip things in. And besides the fact that they put so much programming, so much direction in how they want you to look at things, and they do it by making fun of people. That's how it seems like they do it a lot in the movies, is that they make fun of certain groups. So you don't want to be in that group. You want to be in the good group. And so they define our roles, kind of. They decide by gearing us or pushing us in a certain direction, because we don't want to be the weirdo. We don't want to be the outcast. We don't want to be the oddball. We don't want to be the one that nobody likes. We just want to fit in. And so that is, so much about what they did with the programming with the television and stuff was to create this compliancy syndrome or something where everybody just wants to fit in with everybody else. But really what you want to do is learn how to become your individual self, to learn how to love yourself. And it's like, well, I got to say a couple more things first. So because it is like you do want to go into that is the thing that it is that you want to focus your energy on is, okay, we're just going to wrap this up. Keep going to it. So, let me think if there was anything else. We'll just see what this day brings. Is going to be bringing me some food. I'll tell you, I'm going to go down there and get that. I still have their food in the freezer, but I still feel like, fuck, if we haven't gotten a thing yet, and my neighbor who's going to be leaving on a plane, it's like, man, I don't know. I'm just so curious, like, if she's going to run into problems where planes are stuck or any kind of, and she's going into LA. And so it's like, fuck, I don't know. Some of these places, it was just a hotbed of crime and chaos. You know, there's just so much going on. And then this weird weather system. The guy, Weather Daddy, who was talking about the wind, he said this wind is going to be, they haven't had wind like this in like 100 years or something. It's going to be so bad. So, and I'm sure they've already got power down in all sorts of places. They've got roads blocked off, all sorts of places. And I don't know if the weather's getting better today or getting worse. I don't know. Up here by me, it seems like, I wouldn't say it seems like April, what I used to think about April, but I mean, it seems like it's like nicer, but really still rainy. Yesterday it wasn't rainy though, but there's still just this moistness. Like the ground is so sopping wet and it's like a swamp everywhere you go. It's just been so much rain. I'm telling you, one fucking major flood that had come through here, there's nowhere, there's so much water just sitting on top. There's nowhere for it to go. So, and I don't know if that's what we're going to get hit with. It seems like something's got to hit. Like every place is getting hit with all these things. It's like, man, when you haven't been hit with anything, it's like, look, the pressure's on. What's coming? What's coming? Look. So anyways, I hope what's hurry up and coming is this change over in our fucking world and things to start going in our direction in that. But you can see how this is going to be so mind opening to so many people. Like they're getting so mad at people when they have no idea. Like these people are bringing us to where we want to go. We want these fucking med beds. We want to be in there. We don't want money to be going into senseless places where it's just playing. It's just playing the rounds in the laundry room. It is just bullshit. And so, but people are just so adapted into that system that they can't see anything else. So anyways, we got to be close. Like, we got to be close to the lights coming on and people seeing the truth. And I just, when my brother was telling me that about my brother, I was like, fuck, I hope he gets to this part. This part is because that is gonna make a big difference. And it's gonna make a big difference. People will be able to go in the med beds for one thing, and it's gonna make a big difference over what they're gonna be willing to accept too. It'll be like natural, hell yeah, let's try it. Give me what you got. So it's going to be very, just people just don't see. They don't see the crimes going on. They don't see the criminals. They don't see these people are using us. They don't see that they're abusing us. They're making us sick on purpose, like all of that stuff. But anyway, so we'll just wrap it up and I'll tell you that what we've got to be working on though, because this is what it's all about, is learning how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day because it's totally up to you. You are the one who's creating your own attitude. And so that's what we're here to work on as far as I can see. So I will talk to you tomorrow. We'll talk about this some more. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.